Next time, don't entertain Fai-chun. I don't want you to get hurt. Okay, sweetheart. Anda hugged Luca again. Skip. When Kun-chun arrived at his office, he threw his briefcase down, startling Jenny. What's wrong with you, Chun? Jenny asked, approaching him. Suddenly, Kun-chun hugged Jenny. His action made her stand frozen. Will I be able to get her? Luca once told me that her love for me was gone. Kun-chun said softly, still hugging Jenny. Maybe it's because she was pretty disappointed with your decision to pretend to choose. Me and Mary look my. Jenny answered, trying to win over Kun-chun. I don't know. It feels so tiring. Please, let it be this way for now. I need her, Kun-chun pleaded. Jenny just nodded. Flashback. For years ago. Oh, Fai-chun, stop teasing me. Luca protested as Kun-chun kept teasing her. You're so adorable, look. If only I had a girlfriend like you. Ha ha. Why do you have to imagine it? I'm single, and so are you. Luca replied, laughing. But I'm afraid that your father won't approve of our relationship because I'm not your equal. Kun-chun said softly. Hey, don't worry too much. I'm sure you'll be my equal later. Luca smiled. Jert. Hello, who is this? Kun-chun asked. Okay, I'll be there. Kun-chun immediately ran without saying goodbye to Luca. He drove his motorcycle hastily. It didn't take long for him to reach the hospital. Noon, how's Dad? Kun-chun asked Noon, who was already in tears. Noon hugged Kun-chun tightly. He was trying to find strength from his brother. Dad hurt himself again. I'm afraid he'll do something worse than this. Noon sobbed in Kun-chun's arms. Don't worry. Fai believes Dad will be fine and he'll get better soon. Kun-chun held back his tears. He had to be strong for Noon. You took my money. You betrayed me. Why are you so mean? Ha. You're mean, Peen, you're mean. I have a lot of money. I should have been able to buy a private jet. That's my private jet over there. Kun-Anurak laughed. Kun-chun cried as he looked at his father, who hadn't changed for the past few years. His father suffered a severe depression a few years ago because his company went bankrupt. Dad, tell Chun who Peen really is. Kun-chun asked his father very carefully. Peen was my friend. He invited me to join his company. After the company rose, I was thrown out, and my shares were unilaterally terminated. Ha ha. Kun-Anurak laughed. He's so mean, isn't he? Chun hugged his father. He cried in his father's arms. Why did I only find out that you became depressed because of that guy? I'm sorry, Dad. I'll avenge you. I will hurt his children. I'll make his company go bankrupt, and he'll beg me, Kun-chun muttered, clenching his fist. Elsewhere, Kun-chun saw Luca waiting for him and went towards her. Kun-chun pulled Luca into a dark room on campus. What's wrong with you? Luca asked, quite shocked. Kun-chun never acted rudely towards her. Kun-chun stared deeply into her eyes. Without warning, he kissed her lips. Luca, shocked, tried her best to push Kun-chun away. What are you doing, huh? She asked after managing to get away from him. I want you to carry my child. Luca, Kun-chun answered, approaching her again. Luca dodged him once more. Who are you? Why are you not the Chun I know? Luca screamed, terrified. You must die. Chun suddenly choked Luca. Chun, let go. What are you doing? Jenny pulled Chun away from Luca. You don't need to stop me. She must die, Chun shouted. Chun, calm down. Jenny hugged Kun-chun tightly, trying to calm him. I don't want to see your friend ever again. I hate him. I hate him so much, Chun shouted, making Luca flinch. Luka chose to leave the two of them, who were hugging each other. Why did Chun suddenly change? She muttered. Luka walked hurriedly, so she didn't notice she had bumped into someone. Sorry, I didn't mean to, she said. Anda just nodded. Who is that? His face looks a lot like Lookmai. Ah, it must be just my imagination, he muttered, not paying attention anymore. He continued toward the campus cafeteria to pick up his sister, who was attending a festival held by Star Hunter University. Elsewhere, Jenny, Luka is Kanpin's daughter, Kanchan whispered. She's the one who took your mother away. He continued. Huh? How did you know? Jenny asked. Dad, he told me. And you know Dad is depressed like this because of Luku's father. Kanchan sobbed. Sayo, I've been good friends with Luka all this time, but I didn't know she was the one who stole my happiness. If I had known earlier, I would have killed that girl. Jenny clenched her fist, her emotions exploding. You can help me, right? Kanchan asked. Jenny nodded. A few months later, Chun stood at his father's grave, staring blankly at the fresh mound of dirt, while Noon hugged him from the side. He understood that his brother must be devastated. Kanchan wiped away his tears, unable to hold them back anymore. Mother, father, you are together now. Be happy there. Chun will take care of Noon as best as he can, Kanchan thought silently. He returned Noon's hug tightly. Phi, Noon sobbed. Phi is here. You calm down, Kanchan reassured Noon. A few months after his father's death, Noon and Kanchan chose to change their appearances. They agreed that they wouldn't know each other in public. Chun started building his company, which he named SH Grub. BRUKKKK. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, Chun said when he bumped into Lookmai intentionally. Ah yes, it's okay, Lookmai replied with a smile. Lookmai approached Anda, who was sitting and waiting for her. I'm sorry, you must have waited a long time, Lookmai apologized. It's okay. What do you want to eat? Anda asked. I'll just get a drink. Why not eat? Are you on a diet? Haha, no, I'm already full. Okay, alright. Anda smiled at Lookmai. How's life in Korea? Is it better? Did you meet any handsome Korean oppas and fall in love with them? Lookmai asked, teasing him slightly. Oh, I don't even understand love. I'm still happy being alone, Anda replied, chuckling. Kanchan kept watching Lookmai. He couldn't see clearly who she was talking to, but they were engaged in a very lively conversation. After a few months, since the incident where Chun bumped into Lookmai intentionally, now Chun and Lookmai met more often. They seemed very close, especially since they had the same hobby. It was easy for Chun to win over Lookmai's heart. Chun gathered his courage to go to Lookmai's house. He was sure to meet Luka there. Dad, Mom, meet Chun, Lookmai's friend. And this is his younger brother, Noon. Lookmai introduced Chun to her parents and her brother. Luka flinched when she saw Chun standing in front of her. This was their first meeting since the incident a few months ago. They shook hands. Everyone sat down. I'm Chun and Yurak. I brought my brother here to witness my proposal to Lookmai, Chun said with a smile. Luka was very surprised, but she tried to stay calm. What do you have that makes you dare to propose to my daughter? Kanping, Lookmai's father asked. I have the seed that can fertilize your daughter's womb. Then I can kill your daughter in my own flesh and blood. Chun thought to himself. I have SH Grub. I can merge with Hunter Village if you accept my proposal. Chun replied, still smiling. Kanping was silent for a moment. Lately, He had been hearing about that company. The company, which is in the fashion industry, has been very popular with all people lately. Okay, get married soon. I don't want to wait any longer, Kunpeng replied. Kunchan smiled. Dad, look, Mai muttered. You'll be happy with him, Kunpeng said, smiling. Skip, look, Mai and Kunchan's wedding was held in a very luxurious hotel in Bangkok. For years had passed since Kunchan and Look Mai got married, but during their marriage, Look Mai always received harsh treatment from Kunchan. Honey, aren't you going to divorce Look Mai and Chun? I feel so sorry for Look Mai, even though she isn't my biological child. I love her like my own daughter, Kunploy said, approaching Kunpeng at his desk. I can't make that decision. Ploy, you know Chun's shares are very big in my company. He has everything, Kunpeng replied, hugging his wife. I know, you certainly don't want to lose the company you built with your wife, do you? Kunpeng nodded. I understand, but you can't be careless. Don't let yourself regret losing one of your children later. Don't worry, Ploy. I'm always careful, Kunpeng replied. Flashback end. Anda was lost in thought. He was so sick of seeing Kunchan constantly bothering him. Phi Anda, you better cancel the work contract with SH Grub, Davy ordered. Anda just sighed softly. I don't intend to cancel it, he replied, playing with his phone. Phi Anda, why are you so stubborn? If I could cancel it, I would have cancelled it, Davy shouted, pulling his collar. I'm sticking to my decision. I won't cancel it, Anda replied firmly. He released Davy's hand that was still gripping his collar. You're a troublemaker. You're untrustworthy. You can't be relied on, and you're completely useless, Davy shouted, scolding him as he tried to open the door. Do you regret making me your vice president? I didn't ask for it, but you forced it. You have to remember that, Anda replied, holding back his emotions. You and Dad are the same. You're too obsessed with your position that you keep calling me useless. You should know that I am the biggest shareholder in your company, Anda shouted. What do you mean? Where did you get the money to hold more shares than me, huh? You're just an unemployed man. Phi Anda, Davy shouted, her emotions exploding. Anda flinched slightly. He hadn't realized he was close to revealing his true identity. I mean, Dad holds the most shares. And you need to remember that this company wasn't built solely through your hard work. Anda slammed the door loudly, leaving Davy with her exploding emotions. Elsewhere, hi, you're getting prettier, Kunchan teased, seeing Luca relaxing in her house's yard. Luca just remained silent. She focused even more on her phone. Are you really dating Anda? Kunchan asked, sitting next to her. Luca moved slightly to the side. It's none of your business, she replied rudely. Oh, it's none of my business, huh? But what if your father finds out about this? Kunchan kept sliding closer to her. Can you just be quiet, huh? If Look Mai sees us, she misunderstand, Luca said. It's good if she sees us. I can immediately tell her that I'm going to marry you too. You're crazy. You can't do that whenever you want, Chun. Oh, I actually want both of you. That's why I'm crazy, haha. Kunchan laughed loudly. Luca remained silent. She decided to leave Kunchan. Don't you miss your red car? Kunchan asked, stopping her. So, you really stole it? Where's my car? Luca turned to face Kunchan, who was chuckling. Why don't you ask your boyfriend? Because he has it now. I have to admit that I lost the race back then. Ah, that's not all. Your boyfriend's beloved car was also burned to ashes because it hit the median. Kunchan added, patting Lookaew's shoulder briefly before leaving her. Is Chun telling the truth? But I promised myself I'd believe him. But it wouldn't hurt to confirm what Chun said, Lookaew muttered. She went to her room and pressed Anda's name. The number was not active. Oh, why isn't his number working? Where's that kid? He hasn't contacted me for a week. Priwa. Lookaew dialed Priwa's number. Thank you. Phi will stop by your house tomorrow. Okay, Phi, Priwa replied over the phone. Lookaew ended the call. The next day, Lookaew arrived at Anda's house, driven by her driver. After pressing the doorbell, Priwa appeared soon after. Phi, look. I'm sorry. I haven't had time to let you know that Anda hasn't been back since last week. It's okay. Oh, you have so many cars, Lookaew said. These are Anda's car collection. Do you want to see them? Priwa asked. If you don't mind. You're his girlfriend, so you should know the history of Anda's cars. Priwa began opening each of Anda's sports cars that he won from races. Priwa explained that Anda always named the cars he won. She opened 5 cars, leaving one unopened. This is the latest one. He got it about 4 or 5 months ago, she said. Anda named this car LKS, Priwa said as she removed the car cover. Lookaew was surprised because it was really her car. He lied to me, she murmured softly. Look. Are you okay? Priwa asked. Lookaew nodded slowly. Priwa. Lookaew. What are you two doing? Anda asked. He had just gotten home and saw Lookaew in front of his garage. You're a liar, Lookaew said. She pushed Anda and quickly walked towards her car. Priwa was slightly shocked, but she chose to go inside. She didn't intend to eavesdrop on their conversation. Lookaew, wait. Anda chased after her. Why? Lookaew asked loudly. Give my car back. You know I almost went crazy losing my car, and you intentionally hit it. Why are you using the situation to gain my sympathy, huh? Lookaew shouted. I didn't use any opportunities to get close to you. Everything that happened between us was just a coincidence, Anda replied. Why are you angry at me? You should be mad at Phi Chun because he took your car. He continued. But you lied to me? I can't trust you anymore. I hate liars. Oh, are you going to break up with me again, Lookaew? Anda asked. If that's what it takes, why not? Lookaew asked back. Haha, is it that easy for you to not trust me anymore? Because you lied. Lookaew shouted. Anda took a deep breath after hearing her shout in his face. Anda looked at his phone. Hello, what's up? He asked, stepping away from Lookaew slightly. Okay, I'll be right there. Anda hung up the phone and put it back in his pocket before walking toward Lookaew. It's up to you if you wanted to break up with me or not, but I don't have time to entertain your arguments. I'm an important person and I'm very busy, Anda said. Even if you go back to Chun, I don't mind. Because you've always seemed to be so protective of your first love, Anda added with a slight chuckle. Slap, watch your mouth. Lookaew slapped Anda's cheek hard, while the one who was slapped just chuckled. You want me to disappear from your sight? I will do it, Lookaew, but I have no intention of selling your car. Excuse me, Anda ran towards his car. I hate you, Lookaew yelled as Anda was about to open his car door. Anda hesitated for a moment, then decided to get into the car without looking at Lookaew. Damn it, Anda muttered, hitting his steering wheel. This damn love story is really making me lose focus. He continued talking to himself in the car. Anda could still see Lookaew standing there, watching him. Anda pressed the start button and stepped on the gas pedal. He intentionally crashed his car into the gate of Lookaew's house. causing his car to get scratched, and Luka was shocked to see it. Luka decided to go home. When she got home, Luka slowly walked up the stairs of her house. You haven't changed a bit. Ha ha. Lookmai chuckled as Anda recounted how he was. Anda joined in the laughter. Did you achieve your dreams? Asked Lookmai. I've been enjoying being unemployed, so I'm no longer interested in working, Anda replied. Click. The sound of Luka opening the door made them both look at the door. I think our conversation is enough here. We'll continue it later. I'll take my leave. Anda smiled at Lookmai, then walked out, passing by Luka. What was that liar doing here? Luka asked with a slightly grumpy voice. Nothing. He invited me to a reunion. Wait. What did you mean by liar? Lookmai asked. Forget it. I don't want to talk about it. Did you fight with him? Lookmai asked again. No, Luka answered simply. But I'm going to my room now. Luka cut off Lookmai's words and went to her room. He was in a hurry earlier and I saw him here. What was he calling him for? Lookmai. Luka wondered in her heart. Anda entered the house he slightly missed because he hadn't been home for a week. He saw Devi and Priya crying, so he quickly walked over to them. Is it true that you're dating the son of the richest businessman in Thailand? Anda, Kunveng asked without looking at Anda. Anda glanced at Priya, who just hung her head, unable to meet Anda's gaze. If it's true, why? Anda asked back. It would be great if he were a man, Anda. If it's a woman, you have to end your relationship with her, Kunveng shouted. I have no intention of ending my relationship, Anda replied in a soft voice. I have 3 children who all like women. What kind of karma is this? Ha ha, Kunveng shouted, laughing. You have no future, Anda. You better end it now, Kunveng commanded. I've already told you I don't intend to end my relationship. Stop forcing me, Dad, Anda answered in a raised voice, his emotions overflowing. You're rebellious. Your younger sisters obeyed my orders. They immediately ended their relationships. Why are you so stubborn, Anda? Let me be the first one to defy you. You insolent child. Kunveng raised his hand. You want to slap me again? Go on, slap me, you damn kid. I didn't plant seeds to make you a lesbian. Why are you so ashamed of yourself for acting outside the norms? Kunveng asked. I didn't want to be born into this family. I feel disgusted when I know you're my biological father. And you need to understand, old man, that my 3 children are more interested in making love to women than men, Anda said with emphasis, and then chose to go upstairs. You're truly insolent, Anda, Kunveng shouted. He felt his chest tighten, and soon he fainted. Anda, Papa. Priya stopped going upstairs when she heard Priya call him. He won't die. You two don't need to worry, Anda said, continuing his way up the stairs. Papa, Priya hugged Kunveng. We have to take Papa to the hospital, Davy said. They both carried Kunveng to their car. Priya and Davy chose to turn off their phones when they saw Noon and Bua keep calling them. What's wrong with Priya? Why did she break up with me all of a sudden? Noon mumbled. He kept calling Priya, but her number was already inactive. What does Davy mean by breaking up with me via text message? It's not funny at all, Bua sighed and decided to go to Davy's house. Upon arriving at Kunveng's house, Bua and Noon happened to meet. Oh, you're looking for someone? Asked Bua as she saw Noon ringing Kunveng's doorbell. Yes, I'm looking for my girlfriend, Noon answered. Who's your girlfriend? Bua asked again. Priya, Noon replied. Oh, you're Fayanda's girlfriend and Davy's sister. It's a coincidence because I also couldn't reach Davy, so I decided to go to her house. I don't understand why she suddenly broke up with me. I don't even know where I went wrong because my relationship with her was fine. Yeah, me too. Bua thought for a moment. You two go home. Davy and Priwa are at the hospital. Anda said, walking towards them. Fi Anda, they both called out. My father knows about your relationship, so you better follow what my father wants. If you still want to be with my sisters, then wait until my father dies, Anda said. Now standing in front of them. Oh, so is our relationship? Luca asked, approaching Anda. Anda just glanced at Luca briefly. You three better go home. It's not good to be guests late at night. Anda turned towards his house. The three of them just looked at each other. Noon and Bua chose to go to the hospital. Luca decided to wait for Anda. She continued to stand in front of Anda's house. Anda, seeing Luca standing in front of his house, just stood silent. He sat on his balcony, staring at Luca. Not long after, Anda gave in. You better go home. It's already late. Anda approached Luca. Do you have a relationship with Lukmai? Luca asked directly. She couldn't hold it in anymore. If you're asking outside of our relationship, I apologize because I can't answer it. Anda replied. You're getting close to me so you can be close to Lukmai again, right? Do you have a special relationship with my sister? Luca asked again. Anda just stood silent. He didn't want to answer Luca's rambling questions, but Luca's questions made him provoked. I've already made it clear. Luca, I, who doesn't understand love, have to feel falling in love with you. Even if you want to insult me with my past, I assure you you won't find any trace because I never loved anyone, including your sister. Anda snapped at Luca. You must be lying, you look like a player. Anda wiped his face roughly. What kind of love are we going through, Luca? Why don't you ever believe me? Anda raised his voice. You lied about my car, about your car, and you've lied to me about a lot of things. From what point should I trust you? Luca didn't want to lose. She also raised her voice. If this keeps going on, we might as well be on our own. I can't handle this argument anymore. It feels so tiring. Luca continued. Oh, you're always easy to say that we're over, Anda replied. I no longer want a beautiful story with a liar, Luca said. Ha ha ha. Alright. Anda laughed as he walked away from Luca. Anda entered his house. He intentionally slammed the door shut. Arge? Anda threw a flower vase towards his family photo, smashing it. Kananda, what's wrong with you? Bai Mei asked. She saw Anda already sitting there crying. Bai, is heartbreak this painful? Anda asked, sobbing. Calm down. Bai Mei hugged Anda. Bai, why does it feel so painful? Why can't everyone believe me, Bai? Anda continued to sob in Bai Mei's embrace. Bai Mei just stood silent. She knew Anda's behavior all too well. Since the day of his mother's funeral, Anda and Kunveng had been constantly involved in heated arguments until now. It was unclear why Anda hated Kunveng so much. Anda's life after his mother's death was full of too many rules from Kunveng. He never got his freedom again, and he never got his rights as a child. Perhaps that's also one of the factors why Anda turned into a rebellious child and hated his father so much. Unlike Davy and Priwa, who were very obedient to their father, Bai Mei continued to hug Anda. After calming down, Anda said goodbye to go to the hospital because his father was in critical condition. Although he hated him, he was also worried about Kunvin's condition. Elsewhere, Luca was still in her car, crying until she sobbed. Kanchan, seeing that, just laughed in satisfaction with Jenny. Next, give them an unexpected surprise, Chun, Jenny said while hugging Kanchan. I'll do it for you, Kanchan returned Jenny's hug. Upon arriving at the hospital, Anna walked slowly towards Devi and Priya, who were already sitting and crying in front of the ICU room. How's Dad? Anna asked softly. You. Devi immediately grabbed Anna's jacket tightly. Are you happy to see Dad like this? Vi, is this what you want, huh? Devi shouted. If it is, why? Anna replied. You're a truly ungrateful child. Why would you intentionally want to kill your own father? Have you forgotten that Dad has a history of heart disease? Devi asked, her emotions beyond control. I didn't intend to find out. I just came here to make sure he's dead or not, Anna replied lightly. Bughhh? Devi hit Anna in the face. Fi, what are you doing? Priya immediately pulled Devi away from Anna. Why are you acting like children? This is a hospital. Please calm down a bit, Priya said, pleading with her two siblings. Anna and Devi just looked at each other, then they sat down. Priya, are you okay? Noon asked. Priya, seeing Noon approaching her, immediately hugged him. Likewise, Beulah was now hugging Devi. Anna watched the sweet scene of his younger sisters. He just stood silent. He decided to leave the waiting room, feeling disgusted seeing people getting intimate in front of him. Upon reaching his car, Anna took a deep breath. He thought about why his love story wasn't as beautiful as his younger sisters. Because, to be honest, Anna needed Luca at this time. Okay, Anna said, then hung up the phone. Elsewhere, Luca was still crying in her car. She parked her car on the side of the road. Not long after, two people opened the car door and took Luca inside their car. Who are you? Let me go, Luca shouted. Help! Help! Luca kept shouting, but the road was so deserted that no one could help Luca. Feeling annoyed by Luca's continued resistance, the person directly sedated her. She's pretty heavy, Jenny said, removing her face covering. Where are we taking her? Kanchan asked. We'll take her to the campus warehouse. You can do it there, Jenny answered. Kanchan nodded, then drove his car towards the campus warehouse that Jenny mentioned. Upon arrival, Jenny and Kanchan brought Luca inside. Make sure the cameras are on. I'll make this scene more extreme than an adult film. Haha, Kanchan laughed. I'll make sure this is a bad day for Luca, Jenny replied, laughing along. Don't you want to? Let's do it together, Kanchan invited, now kissing Jenny's lips. Not long after, Jenny pushed him away. Let's focus on Luca. After our plan succeeds, let's celebrate our success with a sex party, Jenny said, now stroking Kanchan's stomach. Kanchan then looked at Luca, who was still unconscious. He approached her and began unbuttoning her clothes. Jenny made sure the camera they installed was in recording mode. You're beautiful, Luca. Kanchan stroked Luca's face. Kanchan had already successfully removed Luca's clothes. Luca, regaining consciousness, immediately pushed Kanchan. Who are you? Luca asked. Be quiet, or you'll die, Chun said, still wearing his mask. Come here, beautiful. Kanchan approached Luca again. Luca dodged him and covered her chest with both hands. Jenny, seeing this, held Luca back. Hurry up, Jenny commanded Kanchan. Crash of broken glass startled the three of them. Jenny pushed Luca away. causing Lookaew's forehead to hit the corner of the table. AHHH ... Lookaew screamed. Who are they? Kanchun asked Jenny as he saw two people in black approaching them. Run quickly. Jenny and Kanchun ran out of the room. My leg. Kanchun stumbled when his leg was shot. Damn it. Who are they? Kanchun asked as he tried to stand. Sam continued to chase them, but he lost track of Jenny and Kanchun. He then decided to return to the campus warehouse. Who are you? Lookaew asked the person approaching her. Put on my jacket to cover your body. Someone ordered. A voice Lookaew recognized, but she wasn't sure because the person's face was covered with a mask. Don't look, the person said when Sam brazenly looked at Lookaew as she was putting on the oversized jacket. Aish, so stingy. The person stomped on Sam's foot, causing him pain. This perfume smells familiar. Lookaew muttered. Take her to the hospital. The person commanded. All right, boss. Sam helped Lookaew walk towards his car. Do you know those people? Sam asked Lookaew, who remained silent. Lookaew just shook her head. Sam also fell silent. He didn't dare ask any more questions. Upon arriving at the hospital, Lookaew crossed paths with Anda. They both looked at each other. There was no conversation. Lookaew went inside the room for treatment, while Anda just watched her walk away. Anda went back to sit with the others, waiting for his father, who was still unconscious. Phi, what's wrong? Noon asked when he saw Kanchun being carried by Jenny, with blood continuously flowing from his calf. It's nothing, just a small wound. Kanchun replied, walking with difficulty. Anda glared at Kanchun, who was slowly walking past him. Are you fighting with Phi Chun again? Noon asked loudly. You haven't seen me here all this time. I don't even have anything to do with your brother. Anda replied, holding back his emotions. Phi Anda, Phi Noon, stop it. This is a hospital, Priwa said, separating the two. You better make sure Phi Lookaew is okay, and you make sure your brother is okay too. Don't keep fighting. I'm so tired of seeing it, Priwa commanded. They both just nodded. Are you alright? Anda asked. Lookaew just nodded. Anda, getting that response, immediately walked back from Lookaew's treatment room. Just like that? Seriously? He did this to me? Lookaew muttered. Lookaew then decided to follow Anda out of the room. Lookaew could see Anda closing his eyes in the waiting chair. Priwa, why are you all here? Lookaew asked, approaching everyone waiting there. My father is critical, Phi Lookaew, Priwa answered, holding back tears. When? Lookaew asked. It's been 2 days. I'm sorry, I didn't know. It's okay, How come your forehead is injured? Priwa asked. I was just careless, so I lost my balance and fell. Lookaew replied, sitting next to Priwa. Phi, why didn't you take care of your girlfriend? Look at her, she's injured. Priwa glanced at Anda. I'm not her babysitter, Anda replied. I'm not her babysitter, Anda replied, refusing to open his eyes. Oh yes, Phi, let me introduce you to Phi Devi, Phi Anda's younger sister. We are 3 siblings. Devi and Lookaew shook hands. She also shook hands with Bua, Devi's lover. They engaged in a light conversation that was quite serious. Anda, who was closing his eyes, chose to walk out of the hospital. Anda took out a cigarette and lit it. Do you have a relationship with Lookmai? The question kept circling in his mind. Anda still didn't understand why Lookaew would think like that. Anda flicked away the cigarette ash and closed his eyes again. in Kanchan's hospital room. Fi, what happened? Why are you injured and Luka is injured too? Did you put her in danger? Noon asked. It's all Anda's fault. He's the one who made me like this. As for Luka, I don't know. Kanchan lied. Stop harassing her. Fi, I'm sure Anda wouldn't have done that. You're defending your friend more than your own brother. Noon, Kanchan shouted. I'm not defending her. It's just that your actions have gone too far. Please stop interfering in people's lives, Fi. Since you don't understand anything, you better keep quiet and be a good Nong for your Fi, okay? Kanchan gently pushed Noon away from him. Damn it! Who were those people? Why couldn't I see their faces? Kanchan muttered. Who are you talking about? Fi. Noon could still hear him. None of your business. Kanchan closed his eyes. He also motioned to Jenny for Noon to leave. Noon left Kanchan's room and went back to Priwa. Skip. A week passed. The relationship between Anda and Luka was unclear. They both were reluctant to ask if their relationship was over or not. Convince's condition had also improved, so he was allowed to go home. In Lukmai's room, are you going to the reunion? Luka asked as she saw Lukmai choosing a party dress. Lukmai just nodded, then focused back on the dress she was choosing. You seem very happy. Will Fayanda pick you up? Luka asked. Yes, he'll pick me up. What do you think? Which dress looks good? Lukmai asked. Luka was silent for a moment. Why do you seem so happy when you hear Fayanda's name? Why are you always excited when it's about him? Do you like him? Why is your attitude so different towards him? Luka bombarded her with questions. If I do like him, what's wrong? As far as I know, you and him are already over. Lukmai replied. Whoa, these siblings are involved in a same-gender love triangle with one woman. Kanchan clapped his hands in front of the door. Luka and Lukmai looked towards Kanchan. What do you mean, Chun? Kinpin asked. Nothing, Dad. I was just teasing Luka. Kanchan chuckled. Kinpin left the three of them. You owe me a debt of gratitude. Ha ha. Kanchan laughed in satisfaction. Luka deliberately bumped into Kanchan. Then she walked to her room, slamming the door shut. So, my suspicions are right. If Fimai likes Fayanda, Luka said, clenching her fist. Lukmai apologized to Anda, who was standing in front of her sports car. It's okay, Anda smiled, then opened the car door for Lukmai. Thank you, you're too kind. Lukmai got into the car. What kind of sight is this? Luka squeezed the curtains when she saw Anda's overly sweet attitude towards Lukmai. Oh, it seems you're jealous. Kanchan chuckled. Who was already in Luka's room? What are you doing in my room? Get out. Luka ordered. This bed feels so soft. Kanchan lay down on Luka's bed. You dare sleep on my bed? Luka shouted. Stop bothering me, Chun, about the incident in the campus warehouse. It's good that I keep your end. Jenny's good name by not reporting your evil actions to the police. Luka continued. She was a little emotional seeing Kanchan's behavior. Oh, you can tell if it was me. Our bond is apparently very strong, haha. Chun replied. He approached Luka, who was standing in front of the window. If that's the case, I don't need to kidnap you. It turns out you wanted to. Kanchan got closer to Luka. What do you mean, huh? Stop there and don't get near me, Luka asked. She was getting cornered. Kanchan got closer to Luka. He started to corner Luka's small body. Come on, give me a chance to feel yours. Kanchan pulled Luka's hand to hold his. Mr. Dapi, but Luka immediately pulled her hand back. I don't want to stay away from me, Luka shouted. She pushed Kanchan hard, causing Kanchan to fall. Damn girl, I'm just following your lover's orders. Looka, Kanchan stood up. What do you mean why you dragged my lover? It's clear that you and Jenny did it. Because she wants to see you pregnant so she has a reason to leave you. Then she can go back to Lookmai, said Kanchan. Why are you so stupid? If your leg and you are two people who love each other, haha. Kanchan continued laughing. Then he left Looka's room. Looka cried. Looka couldn't think clearly in this complicated situation. 8 p.m. Anda arrived at Looka's house to drop off Lookmai. As usual, Anda opened the car door for Lookmai. Thank you. You don't have to bother. Lookmai smiled at Anda. Lookmai, thank you for the time, Anda said, now holding Lookmai's hand. Lookmai just nodded and smiled. Lookmai then said goodbye to Anda to go into her house. After Lookmai was out of sight, Anda leaned back in her car. She took a deep breath. Anda then decided to go home. Before she could open the car door, Looka was already in front of her. Where are you going, you coward? Looka shouted, slapping Anda. What do you mean? Anda asked, holding her cheek that was slapped by Looka. Why are you so mean to me? Why did you do this to me? Looka asked, hitting Anda. Hey, stop. What do you mean? Anda held Looka's hand. You told Kanchan to sleep with me just because you want to be with my brother. Why did you do it? Looka shouted. You know, I was so scared at that time and you didn't ask me what happened when my forehead was injured. Why are you so mean? Anda. Looka's voice trembled. Anda took a deep breath. He was annoyed to see Looka keep thinking bad things about him. Anda pulled Looka to the passenger door. He opened the car door and told Looka to get in. Get in, Anda snapped. Looka got in reluctantly, crying. I'll make your slander a reality, Looka. Anda immediately drove his car. During the journey, both of them were silent. Only the sound of Looka crying all the way. Anda parked his car in a deserted place. The place was located in a remote area in Bangkok. Looka didn't see any houses. Looka was immediately scared when Anda looked at her deeply. Anda moved the seat that Looka was sitting on back. Then he unbuckled his belt. What are you doing? Looka asked when she saw Anda's actions. If I wanted to sleep with you, I wouldn't have to ask anyone else, Looka. Anda tied Looka's hands with his belt. Let me go. Let go. Looka struggled. Anda was now on top of Looka. You don't need Mr. P just to satisfy your lust because my finger is more delicious, Anda said, now taking off his shirt, leaving only his tank top and pants. Stay away from me. Looka shouted. I won't. Anda took off Looka's clothes. Whoa, your chest is so big, Anda chuckled. He immediately devoured it. Looka moaned when Anda's lips touched her nipple. Stay away from me. Looka kept trying to fight back. Now Anda's lips had accessed every inch of Looka's body. Anda also sucked on Looka's neck to give a red mark. Anda licked Looka's lips again, not just licking. Now he was sucking on Looka's tongue. Anda wanted them to exchange saliva more. Looka moaned in between Anda's licking. Looka felt Anda's hand was already in her sensitive area to open her pants. Anda. Looka moaned again. Anda kept sucking on Looka's tongue. After that he lowered his kiss to Looka's neck again. Anda kept licking Looka's body. When he reached Looka's sensitive area, Anda stopped his activity a little. Look away, Looka shouted, seeing Anda looking at her miss. Anda just chuckled. Without thinking twice, Anda squatted in front of Looka's Miss. Anda put Looka's two legs on his shoulders and he immediately licked. Looku's sensitive area. Anda's actions made Looka lift her waist. Fianda. Looka moaned. It's delicious. Looka felt his body heat up. This is a sensation Looka has never experienced before. You're so good at licking Looku's Miss V that it makes Looka addicted. Fianda. Looka sighed more and more. Looku's long sigh when he felt Anda's two fingers breaking through into his sensitive area. You just need my finger. Wiggle your butt a little. It will be nice, Anda ordered. Looka obeyed. Fianda, quickly. It hurts. Looka shouted when Anda added another finger. Do you like it? Anda asked, continuing to move his 3 fingers in and out at a fast pace. I like it. Looku's moans became more and more erratic. Fianda, it seems like I'm going to come faster. Looka asked. Fianda, Looka shouted when she reached her climax. Anda pulled his fingers out of Looku's Miss.V. Then he licked his fingers that were still covered in Looku's clear fluid. Looka, seeing Anda's actions, felt a little nauseous. Anda then untied Looku's hands. After that, he took a tissue. Looka held Anda's hand when he wanted to clean her Miss.V. Anda just glanced at Looka. She slowly opened Looku's thighs and wiped the clear fluid in Looku's Miss.V area. Looka moaned when Anda was cleaning her Miss.V. Looka also wriggled a little. It was very ticklish. Anda kissed Looku's Miss V briefly, making Looka startled. After Anda finished his activity, the situation suddenly became quiet. Only the sound of their breaths could be heard. Anda took a cigarette and lit it. He also opened the car window a little. Give me back my clothes, Looka asked. Anda just glanced at her briefly. Why can't you ever trust me, Looka? Anda asked, exhaling cigarette smoke. Looka just kept silent. She lowered her gaze. Is it because I'm new in your life? Anda asked. Is it because you've known Chun longer so you believe everything he says? Again, Anda asked. Looka was still silent. Is it because of my background, Looka? It's not because of that. I want to trust you. It's just that the actions you took are very real to me and I think Chun isn't lying. Looka replied, unable to look at Anda. Oh, is that so? I'm even tired of seeing someone I love never being able to trust me. The feeling of love that is so big has to be eroded by hatred. Anda exhaled his cigarette smoke again. After this, I hope you find someone better than me, and I hope you're happy with him. What do you mean? Looka asked. I'm letting you go, Looka, Anda said, now wearing his clothes. Put it on. I'll take you home. Anda gave Looka her clothes. Looka took her clothes from Anda. She felt a sting when she tried to lift her leg. Let me help you. Anda put on Looka's underwear and shorts. Looka was stunned when she saw Anda's actions. There were so many things Looka wanted to say to Anda, but her tongue suddenly became numb. She chose to remain silent. During the journey, both of them were silent. Only the music that accompanied their journey. They both arrived at Looka's house. Looka got out. After that, Anda really left without saying a word. Anda couldn't even hold back his departure anymore. Looka said. She walked into her house. Instead of going home, Anda parked his car in front of Kanchan's company. The time was already 2 a.m. Chan, yours is so good, Jenny moaned. When Kanchan's Mr.P entered her Miss.V, Kanchan started moving his in and out. Both of them moaned, making the sound of skin rubbing together. BRAKKK. Anda kicked the door of Kanchan's room until it broke. Anda could see Jenny and Kanchan making love. Anda didn't care. He walked towards them. who were very surprised by his arrival. "You're so rude," Kanchan approached Anda. "You can finish your make-love activity. It's a pity yours is still tense," Anda said. He sat on the sofa. "Why are you here?" Kanchan shouted, putting on his pants which were given by Jenny. "You're so outrageous, Chun." Anda stood up and punched Kanchan right on the nose, making Kanchan's nose bleed immediately. "Ugh," Kanchan shouted. "You made me so sick, you bastard." Anda punched Kanchan's stomach again. "Help! Help!" Jenny shouted, but the quiet office made Jenny immediately call the police. "You ruined me, you dog." Anda kept beating Kanchan. "Prang!" Jenny hit Anda's back head with an alcohol bottle, making Anda dodge from Kanchan. "Of my head!" Anda felt blood flowing from the back of his head. Anda sat down, holding his head, while Jenny helped Kanchan and took him out of the room. Anda stood up, but his vision was very blurry. He sat down again. "Quickly arrest him," Sam said. One of the police officers handcuffed Anda's hands. "Do you need to go to the hospital?" Sam asked Anda. Anda just shook his head. Then Sam took him into the police car. Arriving at the police station, Anda was slumped behind bars. "Don't cause trouble," Sam said. Anda was still slumped. The next day, Kunveng, Devi and Priya visited Anda at the police station. Anda sat in front of the three of them. "Why are you getting more and more out of my control?" Kunveng asked, slapping Anda. Anda just kept silent. "Phi, what's wrong? Why are you like this?" Priya asked, crying. "Why are you getting more and more mischievous? You don't want to cancel the cooperation with Kanchan, but you attacked him like this?" Devi shouted in a high voice. Please lower your voices," Sam ordered. "I want to go back in. I don't want to talk to them anymore," Anda said. He immediately stood up and walked slowly. "Fianda," Luca called. Anda stopped for a moment. "Fianda," Luca called again. When Anda really walked into the detention cell, "I'm sorry. The suspect doesn't want to meet you anymore. Please leave this place. You can visit him again tomorrow," Sam said. Luca looked at Anda, who was sitting with his head buried in his knees. Luca could see Anda's shoulders shaking, indicating that he was crying heavily. Luca wiped her tears. She regretted her stupid actions. Luca walked out with heavy steps. "Ha!" Anda took a deep breath. "Did she really leave?" Anda asked Sam. Sam just nodded and then took off the handcuffs on Anda's hands. "Fianda," Luca called again, making both of them surprised. "Ah!" Anda shouted when Sam accidentally stepped on his foot. "Fianda, are you okay?" Luca asked when she saw Anda's face was very pale. Not long after, Anda fainted. Luca immediately approached him. "Fianda," Luca called. She lifted Anda's head to put it on her thigh. "Blood," Luca muttered when she saw her handful of red liquid. Sam slapped his forehead. He forgot that Anda had a wound on the back of his head. "Quickly help me take him to the clinic," Sam asked Luca. Luca helped Sam to carry Anda. Luca and Sam waited outside the clinic, which was still located around the police station. Luca cried. Her head bowed. After 30 minutes, the doctor who treated Anda's wound came out. "The wound on the back of his head is quite deep, so we have to stitch it up. But his condition is stable," said the doctor. "Thank you, Doc," Luca said. Luca then entered Anda's treatment room. She saw Anda still lying on his side. "Fianda," Luca sat in front of Anda. "I'm sorry. I'm so stupid. I kept thinking about Chun's condition without knowing that you were also injured." Luca sobbed. "I'm sorry." Luca kept holding Anda's hand while crying. "I'm sorry, miss. you'd better go home because your visiting time is up. You can come back tomorrow, Sam said, approaching Luca. Luca stood up and walked out of Anda's room. Anda wiped his tears. Are you sure you're going to break up with her? Sam asked when Anda opened his eyes. Anda took a deep breath. I don't want to break up with her. It's just that I can't take it anymore. You know, I've always hated people who don't trust me. Then I have to be hypocritical to accept her because I love her. It's not like that, Sam. Anda closed his eyes again. I understand you, but why isn't your first love as beautiful as other people's? Why when you fall in love, you get hurt more? Maybe I should be alone, Sam, so I can focus on my work. If I keep going with her and dealing with Kanchan, I'm sure I'll keep losing. Okay, I understand. You rest. Tomorrow you have to go back to detention. Sam ordered. Anda just nodded. At the hospital. Chan, are you okay? I'm sorry I can only meet you now, Lukmai said, approaching Kanchan. You don't see me beaten up like this and you still ask if I'm okay? Kanchan snapped. I'm sorry, Lukmai apologized. I want to go home. I don't want to stay here long. Alright. Lukmai followed Kanchan's wishes. At Kanpin's house. Damn. Why is my stock plummeting? Kanpin slammed his glass. Honey, what's wrong? Kinploy asked. I don't understand. For the past 4 years, my company has been declining, but this decline is huge. Isn't Chen's company covering it up? Not entirely. I have to keep recovering my plummeting stock. Otherwise, my company will be owned by Chen, Kanpin said. He wiped his face roughly. I understand. I'm sorry I can't help much. You can sell the car and the bag you gave me, even though it doesn't cover the shortfall, but at least it helps. Honey, please stop talking like that. I'm not a poor person. It's just that my company has been declining a little, but it's okay. You have to remember that my wealth will never run out. Kanpin replied. He hugged Kanploy. Okay, you are indeed rich, Kanploy replied. Don't you miss Jenny? Do you want to visit her? Kanpin asked. Jenny hates me so much. I can't even bear to see her, Kanploy replied. But I'm sure she misses you too. You should have brought her with you before. If only I could. But her father wouldn't allow it until she grows up and hates me. I'm sorry for marrying you without knowing that you have a husband and a child. Don't think about it anymore. All this time, I've been a good mother figure to Luca, and to Jenny too. I facilitated her by giving her everything she wanted, even though she doesn't know that. I'm the one who made her dreams come true until she could work at Chen's company. You are the best. Kanpin smiled. He moved his face closer to Kanploy's. Tok tok tok. Kanploy and Kanpin were surprised. Then they opened the door. Kanpin, sorry to bother you. Kanchan just came back home with a bruised face. He was beaten up by someone. What? I'll go down now. Kanpin immediately took Kanploy's hand and walked down the stairs of his house. What happened to your husband, Lukmai? Kanpin asked. He was suddenly attacked at his office. Lukmai replied, helping Kanchan to sit down. Who did it? He asked again. Your youngest son's lover, Kanchan replied. Huh? Did he have a lover all this time? Kinploy asked. Yes, he did, Kanchan replied. Why don't I know? Kanpin muttered. Just ask him, Kanchan said. Where's Luca? Kanpin asked. She's out. Is there anything, sir? Baisin asked. Do you know he has a lover? Baisin immediately shook her head because she didn't know. As far as I know, Kanluk only has 2 children. He already has children? Are you serious? Bye, Kunpeen shouted. I mean, Kunlook has two kittens. Aish, you almost gave me a heart attack. Kunpeen was a little annoyed. Honey, that's enough. You should just ask Looka. Kunploy intervened. Kunpeen nodded.